welcome to our special series, Beat Heart Failure, brought to you by the Times of India in association with Novartis. I'm your moderator, Paramita Chatterjee. Now, Beat Heart Failure has been a campaign that the Times of India has been undertaking for the last 1 year or so, where we've been trying to raise awareness about this disease, which is heart failure, which is growing in magnitude across our country. So we needed to make people aware about what this disease was all about, what's the difference from a heart attack, and we've been visiting various states. So today is the state of West Bengal, where we go across and meet with cardiologists, understand the symptoms of heart failure, the treatment options, and of course, what state and private players need to do to really approach this problem in an effective manner. So today joining us from Kolkata, we have Dr. Shantanu Sen, past president of the Indian Medical Association, current head of the IMA of the West Bengal chapter. He's also member of parliament from the Trinamool Congress and member of the Health Advisory Committee. Dr. Sukumar Mukherjee, professor, Kolkata Medical College and chairman of the State Health Advisory Committee. Dr. Kanat Kumar Mitra, professor and head of the Department of Cardiology at RG Kar Medical College. Dr. P.K. Hajra, interventional cardiologist and director of cardiology at AMRI Hospital. Dr. Kunal Sarkar, Senior Vice Chairman and Director, Medica Institute of Cardiac Sciences, and Dr. K.M. Mandana, Director, Cardiac Surgery, Fortis Hospital, Kolkata. Thank you so much, doctors, for joining us. So I laid out a little bit briefly about what heart failure is all about. Let me start with you, Dr. Mukherjee. How would you describe heart failure, especially when it comes to the state of West Bengal? How is the disease manifesting itself? What have been some of the key symptoms that you would say present themselves when we talk about this disease?
I think the heart failure is a very common term. To a doctor, it means the failure of contraction or failure of relaxation, as a result of which it cannot supply the enough amount of blood to the tissues, which is depending on the blood circulation. But to a commoner, heart failure means it may be equated as a cardiac arrest or it may be equated with a heart attack, but they are not synonymous. Synonymous in the sense the cardiac arrest or cardiac events, acute coronary syndrome, are not the same as heart failure. Heart failure is the end results of decompensation following either muscle disease or myopericardial disease or coronary heart disease, as a result of which we get the inadequate blood supply, which is actually needed, that means commensurate with the need of the tissues in the periphery. That is defined as the heart failure. Heart failure may be of various types. I think will come on as we discuss.
Yes, so that is a very textbook, I think, definition, Dr. Mukherjee. Dr. Sen, let me come to you. As the past president of the Indian Medical Association and also somebody who is a member of parliament and looking at the state of health affairs in Kolkata, how large a problem is heart failure in West Bengal? Has the government done an assessment?
I think there is hardly any state in our country where there is not a single patient of heart failure is there. It's one of the most important and most common problems of nowadays, as there are many causes which can lead to heart failure. So heart failure is one of the important finding which we often come across in our clinic, especially those who practice medicine, they come across in their clinic. Especially during this COVID pandemic, you know that if the lung is the first organ which gets affected the most, so for my knowledge goes, the second organ which gets affected after lung is heart. And there are many patients who used to come with a problem of cardiac pain and other problems, and later on they found to be like having viral myocarditis leading to heart failure. And my proposal will be like to prevent this heart failure. Lifestyle modification has become the need of the hour. Professor Mukherjee is there.
So Dr. Sen, we come to lifestyle modification. I think that's very important. Dr. Hajra, let me come to you because, Dr. Sen spoke about the fact that heart failure has become a very common problem. Now, why do you think that is the case, especially in a country like ours? What has been the key contributing factors?
In the past, few years ago, it was rheumatic heart disease when my Professor Mukherjee was my teacher. In modern India, the color of heart failure has changed because of lifestyle changes, stress, pollutions, hypertension, diabetes, drug addictions, increased incidence of COVID, muscle disease, a lack of awareness, and Western lifestyle. The definition of heart failure and the incidence prevalence also changing with time all over the world. The mortality is also increasing because we are facing aging society, maybe super aged society, who are living more than 65 years because of good angioplasty, good cardiothoracic surgery. And once they are relieved of this ischemic heart disease, they land up with age-related, frailty-related heart disease that is called heart failure.
So clearly there are many factors which are contributing to it. But Dr. Kunal Sarkar, you are again somebody who has been looking at the path of this disease. In India, it seems to be presenting itself differently. It's hitting people who are much younger, and we are also seeing the mortality rate to be much higher. Why is that so? Where are we going wrong in terms of addressing this disease? Is it actually treatable?
Paramita, I think one aspect all of us need to be pretty clear about, that like in the case of the pandemic we are going through now, we Indians will have to bear the cross of data deficiency on our shoulders, right? Because even Professor Mukherjee will bear us out that even if you look over the last 2 decades, there is a severe and absolute tragic paucity of prevalence data. We still in India have a lot of what Prakash has just alluded to. Rheumatic heart disease has still not disappeared from India. We are one of the last remaining Asian countries where rheumatic heart disease is still detected, it is still seen. So ischemic heart disease on one side, like the heart attacks and its after effects, rheumatic heart disease, and apart from that, you have other causes in the bucket, like causes unknown, etc., etc. But what all of us need to be aware of and create an awareness about is many of us are just picking up impressions, not data, because epidemiological data in India is very scanty, is very raw.
Okay.
And we need to do a lot of work as far as that is concerned.
Okay, we don't have enough data. We know that heart failure is impacting younger and younger people, but we simply don't have a proper process of putting this data across. Dr. Mandana, how do we address this problem? How do we create enough data to understand the profile of the disease in India? Because it's very different from what we're seeing overseas.
As we say that, as we have been caught unawares with the COVID pandemic, this is a global health burden. And of course, we do not recognize in India, as Kunal said, we are a very younger population. But we must address that as we are an aging population 30 years down the line, so we'll have a life expectancy which is increasing, and we'll have an aging population by 2030 or 2040 or 50. We'll have an aging population. And with that, we also know that we are the capital of diabetes in the world. We're also a capital of hypertension in the world. So we'll be also a capital of ischemic heart disease in the country. So all these three put together with the aging population, let alone the younger population, we'll have a problem on hand few years down the line. Like we see now in the pandemic, we have no ICU beds. And most of the time, if you look at an ICU in a hospital, half of them will be filled with heart failure patients, any age, younger or older. So we know the root cause of this is either the aging population, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, which is very common in our country. And the problem is that, as Kunal said, we do not have a registry. The state registries are there somewhere there in Trivandrum, they have a registry. Some other state in Telangana, they have a registry, or some other states, Delhi, they have probably in AIIMS, they have a registry. It is hospital-based registries we have. We do not have a state-wise or a national registry. I think the time has come, which actually I was discussing with a couple of members, and I've written to the National Medical Council as well now, because we're going to have a census this year. So in the census, we collect a lot of data. And you see, first of all, we should know where we are as far as the 1,300 million population we have. We really do not know whether we have 15 million, 23 million, or 50 million heart failure patients. We do not know out of 1,300 million how many we have. So we should have a registry now. And I think with the Digital India going, it is there with the Niti Aayog, it is there with the National Medical Council. They need to identify this big menace. It's going to get us in a big way in the years to come. So they are all looking
Okay.
at, you know,
So I think that there is agreement that we need some sort of a common database which tells
yes,
us how deep and how widespread
the
is the
problem
problem.
is,
Dr.
yes.
Mitro, now when we get, there seems to be two categories of heart patients. One are potential future heart patients due to diabetes, hypertension, and other lifestyle factors, and ones who are already suffering from heart failure. Explain to us, what should be the treatment options for both?
Thank you, Parvita, for inviting me. And that is a very relevant question now. As so far the discussion here is a very really problem. Heart failure is a really problem for us. And every third patient in a cardiology ward is a heart failure patient. And I fully agree that there is no, unfortunately, there is no national data. Although ICMR has already started a registry of heart failure, and we are a part of that 53 hospital, and it is nearing completion. So this is an attempt to address the issue that actual what is the burden, and roughly about 1.5 to 2 per thousand population is suffering from heart failure, and for this burden. For this burden, we have to pick up them very early, and that's why they have not only two, we have actually divided into four categories: primordial, then primary, secondary, like that. So you have described just 2%, those who are potential to develop heart failure, but at present their heart is normal. But another group, there is already they have developed heart failure. So treatment strategy is simply one is treatment of the specific condition, that is hypertension, that is coronary artery disease, that is valvular heart disease, proper treatment.
Right.
And the second one, those advanced stage of that group that who has developed the final result, final insult of that group of diseases, that is the heart failure. And we have a very limited option.
So let me go with this point to Dr. Sen. As somebody who's looking at the health policy of the state, all the doctors are telling you that this is a large problem, heart failure. But at the same time, you have many other non-communicable diseases. Do you think you have the resources in terms of creating a separate database for heart failure? How much of a challenge is that?
See, if you ask me to be very truthful to myself, then I must share my feeling and my observation. Especially as I got the opportunity to work in the bigger sphere, being a member of the parliament, being a member of the health standing committee. The most unfortunate part of the story of our country is health is perhaps the only sector which is being neglected like anything since in the post-independence. That's why the budgetary allocation in our country, like India, is still only 1.1%. So proper and adequate measures should be taken in each and every step, and especially this health sector should be given adequate and due importance by each and every sector of the country, by each and every state government,
Okay.
be it state.
Let me go with this point to Dr. Mukherjee, because Dr. Mukherjee, you are now somebody who has been a very well-known doctor, a teacher. You're also looking at the policy front, helping the state, and money is always tight. There are just not enough resources. So how do we create a viable system? And how urgent is it to create a system where doctors, all these doctors can actually access data and also generate their own data towards the disease?
Actually, if you want the data, actual epidemiological data, region-wise, at the moment, we do not have. But we can say in that perspective, if you take cancer, cardiovascular disease, and trauma, the major cause of death in the country. So cardiovascular disease includes this coronary heart disease, and cardiac failure or heart failure is the end product of many cardiac diseases. One of them is coronary artery disease, hypertension, diabetes. So obviously, since the cardiac failure or heart failure is the end results of so many multitude of diseases, it is quite common, as is pointed out by Dr. Mitra, that 1 to 2 per thousand. I think if you take the American data, I can say there's about 26 to 30 million people are having heart failure every year. So obviously, it is also variable, because if you take the total population of India, above 60, 40 to 60, less than 40. Above 60, most of the heart failure are due to hypertension, diabetes, and coronary heart disease. Between 40 and 60s is the same disease pattern prematurely occurring. Plus, there are other causes like either viral infection, as we have seen in the COVID-19 infection, many patients died of cardiac arrest. And because the virus itself hit the heart, causing myocarditis, causing arrhythmia and heart failure. Similarly, in pregnant mothers, we can have a cardiomyopathy.
Dr. Hajra, do you think that actually the COVID pandemic has actually made it all the more urgent for us to address a disease like heart failure, because we are seeing COVID impacting the heart of patients quite drastically despite their recovery?
Yeah, the heart failure is a very peculiar thing. If you give more, treat more, then you will also see increased incidence of heart failure, especially in the elderly population. If you give less, treat less, you also see increased incidence of heart failure because young people, they have ischemic heart disease, high cholesterol, smoker, hypertension. This is peculiar situations. And this COVID is another peculiar situation. It affects mainly the elderly, those who have comorbidities. So once you come out from this COVID, the damage to your heart and lung remains there. Maybe a permanent damage in some group of people you do not know. But there is a 4D. 4D means drug, disease, decision, and device. You have to have early disease detections, early drug administrations, early device, and early decisions by detecting the risk factors. The COVID treatment is not there, but the consequence of COVID, consequence of hypertension, consequence of diabetes, using two paradigm shifting drugs. There are two drugs, beautiful drugs, and there are many new devices, heart transplant, artificial heart, everything available in India. And we have patients in Calcutta, they do receive those kind of therapy. So early disease.
So I think that's very encouraging that you're saying that, listen, if we catch these patients, if we find out that they have heart failure early enough, there are many treatment options available. There have been many advancements. So essentially, the idea is to catch them early. Dr. Mandana, share with us your ideas, because the symptoms of heart failure, when I was going through them, things like breathlessness, weight gain around the abdomen, these are symptoms that many of us may overlook, especially during COVID times, when we are all stuck at home. The symptoms as a patient, what can I do to be more aware?
See, I think, Paramita, the most important thing here again is awareness, awareness, and awareness. That's what we are doing this program. That's what is required. See, today, how much, just give an example, a simile to what has happened today. Because of the awareness campaigns run for COVID-19 with different platforms, whether it's media, electronic media, OTT, social medias and stuff like that. Today, every man in India, barring children, who have basically, knowing that there is no treatment for COVID, but they're all experts in COVID today. Why? The simple reason is because they're aware of what has been told to them by various media platforms. This is what, like a COVID-19 expert, everybody needs to be made aware of a cardiac problem. See, today we should know one thing, very simple, is that cardiac disease is still a preventable disease. Okay, that's the most important thing. Prevention, we know, is better than cure. So if you have an awareness, you detect a disease and treat it early, you don't need surgeons and cardiologists for the population. Now, because you're
That's
not—
a great point. So that's
so
right. Because all the burden comes on your mega tertiary hospitals.
Exactly. Because so if the awareness is there, treatment is early, medication is early, devices and transplant, forget about all those things, but people will get treated and live longer with, of course, the lifestyle changes, the medication and the healthier lifestyle with exercise.
Okay. So I think
that is the key in awareness. Yeah.
So I think, Dr. Sen, we will come from what Dr. Mandana has said, and Dr. Shantanu Sen. Dr. Sen, urban centers, urban people still have access to this kind of information and awareness. How do you ensure that patients are caught early in rural centers, in primary healthcare centers? Do you think you can use your existing network?
The funniest thing is it's self-contradictory, As you said, it's quite right that the urban people are little aware of these happenings. the cause of this disease and the outcome. But on the contrary, the urban people are most reluctant, and they are usually having their sedentary lifestyle, and they are suffering from this type of disease more. On the contrary, where so far the rural people are concerned, they are not having that much of idea, but their lifestyle is something different if you compare with the urban people, and they are doing more exercise, and they are doing more laborious job. They are applying their body, and urban people are applying their mind and head. That, so if you go by the statistics, you will come to see that
Right.
the incident of cardiac problem or heart failure are much more in the people who are living or who are dwelling in the cities in
Let me
comparison
ask,
to the
let
right.
me ask Dr. Mitro about this. Dr. Mitro, do you think heart failure is a problem more of the urban class rather than the rural class?
Actually, to some extent, it is true, but younger people, even the pediatric people, young pediatric age group, they are also have some heart failure in the form of cardiomyopathies, in the form of other congenital heart diseases. They can have also, but statistically, it is a little advanced age. They are more susceptible to develop heart failure with the aging process. So that is one, and the commonest precipitating factor for heart failure is the hypertension and coronary artery disease and diabetes. Predominantly, they are the diseases of the adult, although they occur in our Indian a decade earlier than Western counterpart. In that way, you can say we are at the young age we are susceptible to develop heart failure compared to our Western counterpart. A decade earlier, all the diseases, hypertension,
Because of our South Asian genes. So, because as a race, we are more predisposed to diabetes and hypertension as well. Hence, we are more predisposed to
so we are
heart
also
failure
susceptible
at a younger age.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Dr. Kunal Sarkar, Dr. Shantanu Sen and Dr. Mukherjee, since they're looking at the, health advisory committee, they might say that, listen, we are already treating diabetes and hypertension. And so perhaps in the next 5 to 10 years, the incidence of heart failure should also come under control. Is there such a direct correlation?
Paramita, we wish there was, but if you look at the data that comes from the so-called developed part of the world, I mean, this fairy tale has not really, materialized into reality so far. But I want to emphasize and underline that, for us in India, the economic impact of heart failure is also enormous. Because as you said in the very beginning, that we being a young population, when we have the younger population because of heart attack, hypertension, whatever, there is a significant percentage of our young, working, productive population which is going off because of heart failure is a disability. It takes off people from the productive phases of life. Number two is we eat up about 5% of our entire healthcare resources in treating something, which, as Dr. Mandana very correctly said, would have been at least partially preventable if it was available earlier. And the third point is that given the sort of economic stringency in India, which we face at the moment, you see, I'll give you a figure. There is something in health economics called a cost effectiveness ratio, ICCR, which for India stands at $2,000 and which for US and Europe stands at around $60,000. So for us to be chasing patients with artificial hearts and transplants and everything is honestly, it may be a technical cure, but it is like a financial curse for many of
Right.
them.
So I think
So
that's so true. I think that's a huge
absolutely,
point.
so the economic impacts of heart failure in the current transitional state of the Indian economy is a very significant problem. And that is why, as Mandana underlined, that the more earlier we come to terms with the precipitating factors, better it is for us.
Okay, and I think so. I think there is agreement amongst all the stakeholders today that we need to have a separate database. We need to have a separate strategy because the numbers for heart failure are just continuing to grow. Just focusing on diabetes and hypertension is not enough. Dr. Mukherjee, what would you see as the future for particularly a state like West Bengal, which has a fairly deep history of cardiovascular disease and hence heart failure? what can be the workable steps that you think the government can and should implement, and the private sector as well?
Heart failure is a very costly disease where treatment is much costlier than the prevention, but prevention is difficult to follow. But prevention of heart failure is more rewarding in terms of long-term survival and the quality life. The three features are very important for heart failure: suffering or morbidity, repeated hospitalization, and sudden death. These are the three major aims in the treatment of heart failure.
So,
Whenever
sir,
we
what do you think needs to be done? Share with us.
So in
perhaps
that
two
case,
or three.
number one is the prevention of body weight or obesity, control of smoking, control of alcohol. These are all potential cardiotoxic drugs. Then control of hypertension. Now it has been shown in the Western countries that by controlling hypertension, heart failure incidence has come down. So controlling hypertension with the numerous drugs we have got, I think this is possible to reduce the incidence of heart failure. Fourth is diabetes control. That is very important. And diabetes heart failure is a different one than hypertensive heart failure. Different diabetes heart failure can come surreptitiously. Diabetes heart failure can hit the muscle, can hit the blood vessel, can hit the nervous system.
Dr. Mukherjee, just to paraphrase, you're saying we need to address some of our lifestyle diseases, control our weight, and the number of heart failure patients will come down. Dr. Mandana, right. Dr. Mandana, closing comments. So one is to control the number of future heart failure patients. What should be done for the current heart failure patients? What is the strategy that you would advise?
I think first thing, as I said, Paramita, is to have a registry. Means you screen the patient. You can screen at various levels. You can start. I will not say that at the district level hospital, the PHCs are useless, as we all know, but in the district level hospitals and beyond, coming on to the medical college and all the private hospitals, as we know that the urban population is more at risk for diabetes, hypertension, and the heart failure. I think we should have a registry there itself. I think we start screening these patients. We see only a few years ago, the government of India had a task force for the cardiovascular risk, screening of the patients. We did not have even for 5 years ago. It was started from All India Institute. We had the screening for HIV, non-communicable diseases, and cancer, and this like that. But what was killing Indians was the cardiovascular disease. So only 5 years ago, we had a task force which is looking at a cardiovascular disease risk screening process. So this has to be taken to state level. This has to be taken to district level and screen patients for 2-3 diseases like diabetes, hypertension. And I will say these two are also familial diseases which runs in the families. You get a hereditary disease. So even that is very important for me today. If you're looking at a parent who's diabetic, hypertensive, or is having heart failure at the age of 40 or 50, that means the siblings have to be screened. Definitely. So diabetes, hypertension, and coronary disease or cardiovascular disease is again a familial disease. So you have to screen them early, depending on what they have. So screening has to go at that level to district level. So identify them and treat them early for the diseases which are killers. All the 3 things are killers. So I think that is what the government of India should look at.
To conduct an effective screening program for predisposing conditions which makes me predisposed to heart failure at the district level.
As we have for cancer, you have a cancer detection programs. You see, you're looking at cervical cancer, breast cancer, but nobody is looking at a coronary disease, the heart disease, or a failure, or a diabetes or hypertension, which is all complementary.
Let's have this kind of a focused approach when it comes to heart disease and particularly heart failure. Dr. Kunal Sarkar, sir, you brought up a very important point, the economic cost, and that should ring a bell with state governments, because ultimately the burden, comes on them the later the stage of disease, especially with these, common health insurance programs which are being run. What would you advise in terms of a workable strategy which can be implemented?
You see, there isn't a quick fix solution to the problem straight away. But first of all, I think there is a bit of variation across the country in terms of central government programs, state government programs. So I think people who are, we are all talking about prevention, etc., which is extremely important. But at the same time, we also have to care for the ones who are suffering at the moment, who are suffering now. That is an enormous disease burden for a country of 135 crores. So, in order to facilitate that treatment, whether it is based on medicines or some of them would be considered for heart transplants, which honestly, as you know, is doing quite well. India has made rapid strides in the last 5 years in the domain of heart transplants. So, in order to make treatment possible, we need uniform policies across the country. For people who are in the low earning category, we would appeal both central and state governments to, as they do very often do that. But again, you see there is a state to state variation in that, where people in the low earning category, if they suddenly, have a breadwinner in a family of four doing a very humble job, needs a cardiac device or is being considered for a transplant, I think in these kind of exceptional cases, there has to be, a little bit more of public support than we have at this point of time. And last but not the least, you see, this cannot be confined within the boundaries of a state. Any place which is connected to the other within 2 hours of flying time is potentially a collaboration zone for heart failure treatment coordination. So
Right.
we have to be truly national and truly sort of unified in our approach to this treatment, because yes, we all aspire that this disease is minimized in years to come, but at the same time we have to look after the ones which who are affected. And I think both with individual consciousness, proper policy, and public level support, I think we are not doing too bad, but we can do much better than what we are at the moment.
I think very well said, doctors. Dr. Mitra, just final comments from you. What would be your perspective since you are familiar with both the state government machinery as well as you have a window to the private world?
The most unfortunate fact is that the 40% patient after the diagnosis of heart failure, they die within 3 years. This is the fatality of this heart failure. And second unfortunate thing is that only 1/4 of the patient actually receives medicine for as per guidelines for heart failure. This is the second unfortunate thing. And third unfortunate thing is the inadequate medical person. For every disease and every health problem, there is a very lack of medical manpower.
Right.
So to cover all this, to increase the awareness of all this, you need a more medical persons. And lastly, what we should do from the very young person, we have to increase the awareness of heart failure. What is heart failure? What is the problem of heart failure? What is the consequence of heart failure? And you should do this and you should not do this. So this should be conveyed for every mass media or public media constantly, as it has been achieved well by the Western counterpart. They have a very good achievement of this preventive part.
Right.
So we are at the government level. Our government is trying best hard. Sometimes the drugs alone cannot work. We need some costly devices. And our government and the state government, they are giving it free, that costly. So that is one part. But this is very negligible to the magnitude of the huge problem.
Of the problem. Right. So we need to bring those numbers down. I think that's the urgent messaging. Doctors, we've completely run out of time. It's been such a pleasure. So clearly, there are two sides of the story that are emerging out of here from the doctors in West Bengal. That one is the preventive side. Let's control the numbers of heart failure patients for the future. And therein lies awareness. The responsibility lies with you, the viewer. You need to be aware. You can go to the Times of India symptom tracker, become aware. What are the symptoms of heart failure? Is there family history? And of course, do I have diabetes or hypertension or any of those factors? The other is, of course, for those with heart failure. And their doctors, I think you've come out with some great options. We need the state government's help because some of those treatments are quite expensive. And of course, most important is to make sure the heart failure patient gets treatment on time. Thank you so much, doctor, for joining us. And it's been a pleasure. We wish you all the safety and good health. And that brings us to the end of this special episode of Beat Heart Failure, brought to you by the Times of India in association with Novartis from the city of Kolkata. Thank you so much for watching.